Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at confidence intervals with proportions. The formula for this is slightly different than it was for means. We've got what's called a p hat. That's a proportion. Okay, P stands for proportion. It's a p hat plus or minus the z star. Okay, here are the values again for Z star. We've got 80%, 90%, 95, 99, and these are the same numbers as we did in the last lesson. All right, but here we do the square root of P hat times 1 minus P hat all over N. N is our sample size, okay, just like it was in the confidence intervals with means. All right, we only have two examples we're going to go through. Okay, so let's be very thorough with them. Here we go. Here's our first problem. In 1995, Harvard School of Public Health College alcohol study examined alcohol use among college students, including the practice called binge drinking. Binge drinking for men was defined as consuming 5 or more drinks on at least one occasion during the 2 weeks prior to the survey. 4 drinks for women. Binge drinkers experienced a higher percent of alcohol-related problems such as disciplinary problems, violence, irresponsible sexual activity, personal injury, and poor academic performance. In a representative sample of 140 colleges and 17,592 students, 7,741 students identified themselves as binge drinkers. Give a 99% confidence interval for the proportion of college students who binge drink. All right, I crossed this off because that is information that is not needed. Okay, we don't care that it was 140 colleges. We do care how many students took the survey. Okay, so first of all, 99% tells us to use the 2.576. Okay, 99%. Now, the formula, ladies and gentlemen, well, before we can do anything, we have to come up with the proportion. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 7741 and divide it by the whole sample size, 17,592 students. That's our p hat. Again, this divided by this. Our sample size, our N in this situation is going to be the 17,592. Okay, so we've got our p hat. We know our Z. Okay, again, here's P hat again, but then 1 minus P hat, and then N. All of that's in the square root. All right, so we plug our numbers in. Okay, so we plugged in the 0.44 plus minus 2.576. Notice I put grouping symbols around this. Square root of 44. Now, what's left over, ladies and gentlemen? Let me go ahead and do this just off to the side. So instead of doing the 1 minus inside, I'm doing 1 minus the scratch work and then putting that in there. So this times this. Again, you have to subtract from 1. All right, now we're going to figure out the minus and the plus. Okay, so we do it separately. So let me demonstrate with the calculator. So we're going to do the minus portion first. All right, so on our calculator, we're going to go ahead and go 0.44 minus the 2.576 parentheses. All right, next we have the square root. Okay, now 0.44. Now, if you want to use parentheses, go ahead, but you don't need to. You can just go times 0.56, divide by, and we're going to put in the 17,592. Now, if you want to close it with parentheses, you can, but it's not necessary. Just hit enter. All right. So you just type that in and we get 0.43. All right. So, and that becomes 43%. All right. Then we're going to do the plus side of it. Okay. Little trick here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Little trick, hit second enter. It retypes it for you. Go back. Change the minus sign to a plus sign. And then enter. And that's going to round to 0.45. Okay, 0.45. So that's 45%. So use your calculator. Okay, type it in. So what's our conclusion? We are 99% confident that 43% to 45% of college students binge drink. Not a good thing to do. All right. Okay, that's one example. We're only going to do one more. Okay, here we go. This one is, we have a French naturalist, Count Buffon. This was back in 1707, 1788. He tossed a coin 4,040 times. He got 2,048 heads. Give a 95% confidence interval based on his tosses for the true proportion of heads. Based on this interval, is the coin used fair? All right, so 95%. Okay, so 95%. That's our Z star, 1.96, and I wrote that off to the side right here. All right, step number one. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find P hat. All right, we take the 2,048 and divide it by the 4,040. Bottom number is always bigger. And we're going to round it. We get 0.506, and that's approximately 0.51. Okay, so we're going to use that. Then we're going to plug the numbers into our formula. Well, before we do that, our sample size is 4,040. All right, now plug it into our formula. Again, let me go back up here a second. We've got P hat plus or minus Z star square root P hat times 1 minus P hat divided by N. Okay, so that's what I've got here. P hat, 0.51 plus or minus the 1.96. That's my Z star. Square root, okay, 0.51. Now remember, I took and subtracted 0.51 from 1 to get 0.49. That's where that comes from. These two should add up to 1, divided by 4,000. Okay, one more time. I'll do this on the calculator. So now I'm going to take 0.51. I'm going to go ahead and do the minus 1.96 times the square root of 0.51. Again, you don't have to use parentheses. You can go times 0.49 divided by 4,040. And you do not have to close it, and you get 0.49. All right, so that's what I did right here. Then I do the plus this, and we get 0.525. Now I kept that 0.525. Okay, I could have rounded it, I guess, to 53, but I like 52.5%. All right, so question is, based on this interval, is the coin he used fair? Yes. The interval is 49% to 52.5%. A fair coin is 50-50 or 50%. 50% is between 49% and 52.5%. So therefore, it is a fair coin. Now, if we would have gotten anything, if we would have gotten an answer that was not 50% was not part of it, then it would have been no. But since 50% is in that interval, we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. If you need to rewatch any of that, or If you need extra help, make sure you ask. Good luck.